So this panel is going to be a little different. If you guys have ever met me, I truly believe that there's no bullshit in this industry and that there's no secrets. So my panelists have been tasked today with truly giving you what they do in their organizations. I know what they do, so if they play the game of only giving you partial answers, I'm going to call them out for it. The goal today is to actually have you guys figure out what's working, what's not working, and making sure we actually can move all of our businesses forward. We have an incredible panel. This will be a lot of fun. They've all agreed to be open and honest, and we'll see how this actually works as soon as they get mic'd. That is definitely not me. Rev, joke. So do mine. Where's Sam when you need him? All right, joke.
I got one. Wait, we're celebrating somebody's birthday here.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we are. Well, not quite.
No?
2 weeks.
From the person we had dinner last night?
Yes, but that doesn't matter. So we can go ahead and embarrass her. So we have somebody who I made the mistake because I did not want to underage someone. I said she was turning 35, and she's turning 30, and it's a very, very big birthday. So in sort of our panel and our history, we always call out somebody who has their birthday, and we sing happy birthday to them. So it is Becky's birthday from Velvet Taco. So we will sing happy birthday. Where is she? So we can embarrass her. She's not even in the room. Sam?
I was actually thinking of somebody else.
Who?
Rachel from Opus.
Oh, it is Rachel's birthday too.
Actually, her birthday today.
Oh, even better. Is Rachel in the room?
I saw her in the hallway.
Oh, yeah, she's in the back. There she is.
She's hiding.
So we'll sing happy birthday to Rachel. Sam is over in the back corner. You can yell later. But my time is now limited, so everybody on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rachel. Happy birthday to you. Nothing like not being mic'd up on time. All right, so on the panel, we will start with everyone introducing themselves and then giving up a little secret of what they're going to talk about. You missed our panel, but you know how I work, so you know you can't get away. Go ahead and make some introductions.
Well, my name is Harold Walters. I'm co-founder of a brand called Shootz. We're a Hawaiian-inspired Asian fusion out of Southern California. We're all about defying the odds. From the moment that we started this brand, everything was against us. We had no reason to win. We ended up opening up in the pandemic in September of 2020. Prior to that, we opened in a food hall, 600 square foot location. None of the landlords wanted us in there. They thought that the concept didn't make sense. They thought that it wasn't going to fit. But prior to the pandemic, our only way of getting started with the brand was putting up $6,000 of our own money and trying to figure out what we were going to do in between opening up the location and build out. And so we decided to do night markets, things like that. And then obviously the pandemic hit, shut all of that down. So we started launching quarantine packs, and that's how we ended up getting our capital to open up the location. When we first opened up, we had a maxed out credit card and just enough to cover one payroll. And we ended up doing 1.9 million out of 600 square feet in 12 months. And here we are today with 3 locations, one more opening up this year, and we are looking at a 5th in January.
So for $6,000, I could have done 1.9 million.
Well, 24,000 total, yeah, but it's a pretty decent return.
And a maxed out credit card. Welcome to the restaurant. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Coulter. I'm with Biscuit Belly. On here, my official title that you'll see is co-founder and integrator, but I've deemed myself the chief biscuit eater. So if you have any questions about the biscuits around your area, we can talk. Biscuit Belly is based out of Louisville, Kentucky, and we've opened 13 locations. We are really focused on the gourmet, huge biscuit. So super healthy, fun place to be. And we have locations in Kentucky, 1 in Georgia, 2 in Alabama, 2 in Virginia, 1 in Raleigh. We've got 2 more opening in Charlotte, 1 opening in Summerville, South Carolina by the end of the year.
Awesome. Chase Wardrop, CEO of Swig. Swig is a specialty drink shop. We're the home of the dirty soda, so also very healthy. But we sell happiness in a cup. We are opening up our 76th location tomorrow, founded in 2010, and we're just making our way east. Our furthest store east is going to be in Knoxville, and that one opens next week. So soon to coming to an area near you soon.
Everybody's waiting. So the panel is going to talk a lot about culture and how you get the culture of a brand to go through not only to your front of the house and your customer, but how you get the culture to go into and live in your organization from the top down. And that is a huge, huge component of what I am all about and what we focus on at Craveworthy. So when I was asked to moderate this panel, it was a no-brainer because it's something that we preach every day. You can't have an organization if the culture is not right. So the first question that we're going to have is, how do you define your brand culture? And then the follow-up, because I don't want to talk much, is how do you market it and how do you execute it?
Yeah, so for us, like I said, we're all about defying the odds. And the thing is starting the brand, like we literally started it with 4 friends inside of a bar. So we didn't really design our culture per se. We ended up discovering it. And that's a hard discovery because as we started to grow and we started to scale, we started to realize like, wow, there's a lot of things that, we obviously did right, but there's a ton of things that we did wrong. And it showed in who we were hiring, who was driving the business, especially after we started to step out of the stores. And so what we did was we really looked at what is the authentic pieces of us as a group, us 4, and we started to just kind of peel back the layers, and that's when we started to see like, oh, we've been defying the odds over time since we started this thing. And so from there, it's just been creating an architecture that supports it in the back of the house and in the front of the house for our team, all the way from hiring, all the way up into training, in front of house and in back of the house, and as well as how we market.
At Biscuit Belly, we kind of have the luxury of being open early in the morning creates this kind of person anyways. So people don't come and look for jobs, at a breakfast concept where a back of house person has to be there at 6:30 if they are, dragging in. And so that has kind of inherently helped us. On the walls and in our hiring materials and in all the things we have, our core values obviously listed around, being a go-getter, good times. But the one that we're really focused down on this year is, we're calling it the year of hospitality. Just every guest greeted, every table touched, every biscuit is the best biscuit. And so what that does is bring in not just our front of house, which is usually the optics one, the one that gets all the attention, but it also brings in our back of house. And we have really worked on ways to showcase the back of house person that puts so much love into these biscuits that they're making each day. So, it's, what I've learned is it's not like you have to do something huge and spectacular, but you have to do the small pieces of recognizing them. So for us, what that has meant is putting up a little sign that says, your biscuits were made by Tish today. And, a picture of Tish throwing around flour. Or at some of our new stores, we've even got like a fun window where they can see our biscuit makers, and they are able to engage with the people who then eat the biscuits, especially with kids. It's really fun. If you look at our Instagram, it's warms your heart.
Love it. We try to have a culture of care where myself and our founder, Nicole Tanner, I've been to all but 3 openings since 15 stores, and she's been to almost every opening. And you'll catch either one of us outside taking orders for 2 to 3 hours at a time, and we go line busting, so we go car to car. And it's just showcasing to our team, like, hey, we're willing to do anything and everything we ask you to do, and every little interaction matters. And then also to our team member facing, we'd like to push leadership modules, and we want everyone to come to Swig and leave better. We don't want them just to be able to make a really good drink or take an order really quickly. We want them to come out of their management experience knowing how to have difficult conversations, manage team members and people, and getting some of those skill sets that will carry onto their future careers.
So, Chase, you brought up the culture of care. So one of the unique things you guys do is you build a community following with that culture. So how do you play the advertising and that getting that message out so the message is not only resonating with your consumer, but also your back of the house and your house, that it is a culture of caring? It's something that you guys drive sales with. It's your main sort of philosophy.
Yeah, so directing it to our customers, when we open a store, we give out we're selling drinks, and those are pretty low cost items. So we'll give out 20 to 30,000 free drink cards that you can get. Well, we're calling them variety cards. You can go redeem them for a pretzel bite, a cookie, or a drink. And we'll give out 20 to 30,000 to schools, to community centers, to churches. And we just want to let the community know that we're there. And the way we participate to be local, we let our managers and our stores every year, we do a campaign called Share the Love. And so during the month of October, every time you buy a do-gooder or a sticker pack, or we also have a few other drinks that we'll donate $1, and the manager and the team at that store gets to choose a charity of their choice, and we'll donate that money to that charity. We want them to feel like the store is theirs. They get to make decisions and say. And we also do a Share the Love campaign. Nicole Tanner is a breast cancer survivor, and when she was going through breast cancer, someone paid for all of her medical bills. She was a mom of 4. She was 36, and someone paid for all of her medical bills. And so now, in the month of October, we raise money for people going through breast cancer, and then we'll go pay for the medical bills. And customers in the community can nominate friends, family, loved ones who are going through that, and we will pay for their medical bills.
That's amazing. The thing that I took away is 20 to 30,000 free cards. Most of us in the room right now, I know, went ugh with the amount, but they have lines when they open up a restaurant because they hand out 20 or 30,000 cards to get people in the door. And grassroots marketing is so important, and we forget about it, especially when we're sitting here talking about digital, that's still the best way to get a consumer to try your product. And yes, they have a low cost and everything else, but it's 20 to 30,000. They bet on themselves. How many of us in this room will actually bet on themselves and hand out 20 to 30,000 cards on a store opening?
And usually we see about $1.50 additional spend, which for us covers majority of our products. So on each redemption, we also make $1.50.
Okay, Lauren, how do you extend your culture? Because again, your culture is about fun, and people who haven't been to your restaurants don't quite understand that there's a lot more going on in yours. How do you extend that to make sure your marketing matches with what you preach? And again, having that picture of who made your biscuit is so important. How do you extend that message outside of the restaurants?
We this year, in an effort to help get the word out about the fact that we are scratch-made everything, we've really leaned into the influencer piece. And it sounds so easy, but this has been something that we've really had to work on. And so part of what we do is get some influencers for the local community into the store, and as part of our opening process, we bring them in, have kind of an influencer night, and they make biscuits. So they see how hard it is. They collect a lot of content that they can then post, and then we get to turn around and use it as well. So creating that kind of customer engagement piece is important. And then the other thing, I mean, I loved what the speaker earlier was saying about, being Frankenstein, like having all these different types of tech and all these tech things are really cool. But when you're small, the guest experience is the only thing that matters. And so we have chosen to prioritize tech that really drives the guest engagement piece. And so I'm not getting any kickbacks or anything, but we have utilized Ovation to help guide us, learn from customers, really drive that, yes, yay, sorry, yay, really drive that user experience and let our customers really be the people to market for us. And it has worked out really, really well. The other thing that my team loves is, when they fill out, if somebody goes online, like that Starbucks thing said, if somebody goes online and fills out a contact us form, I get that form. And so what the Ovation piece has allowed us to do is give the operator real ownership of the experience in the store, and has allowed them to step in and correct something if it needed correcting, but also give their team the pats on the back when needed. So that's been a really fun tool for us to use to help really give attaboys and yays, as well as use it to develop our training pieces.
So Harold, you're in a unique situation. You're growing, you're smaller. Do you plan, or how do you envision keeping the culture going from store to store? What's sort of the layout that you've done from store 1 to store 2 to store 3 that has allowed you to maintain and build upon what you started with your friends in the bar?
Yeah, that's been honestly a bit of a challenge as we started to scale. Like I said, we started to notice that we kind of had the wrong people on the boat. And so the real first step was defining, okay, what is it that did work for us? What is really the authentic pieces of us? And then from there, we started to literally kind of let everyone phase out that didn't necessarily fit that culture. And then from there, we just reverse engineered everything as far as how we hire. A couple things about our brand is that we are all about abundance. We believe in abundance. We believe that even if we don't necessarily have it right now and we can't see it, that it's there and it's going to show up when we do need it. And so we're looking for those types of people. We're asking the questions in the interview process that shows us, do they have that kind of mindset as well? We also want people to have a dream. So anyone that comes to work with us has to have a dream. Maybe not necessarily a huge earth-shaking dream, but at least a dream of something that they can't necessarily see now that we can help with cultivating that for them. So yeah, we're constantly looking at doing that. And another big thing for us is all of the owners are always involved in the process of hiring now. So whether it's a final interview or if it's a second to last interview, we're in the process of knowing who exactly we are hiring right now, and we believe that's a huge piece in this time because we're promoting from within. So whoever it is that we're going to be hiring for store 4 and store 5 is going to be someone that's learning from someone that we're hiring now. So.
Very cool. So obviously we're all looking at tech. We all envision tech as being a savior to help us install our cultures. And this would not be a digital if I did not have the mandatory tech question. But what tech aligns with your sort of brand requirements of building culture? What pieces do you use to sort of help lay the foundation of what you are for your team to sort of learn from and establish themselves? Because you can't talk to everybody once you get bigger. So Swig has a completely different set of problems than Harold does or that I do. What tech do you guys look at to help install the process of developing your team and getting them to buy in and keeping them focused on the mainstay of your brand?
I haven't fixed that problem at all with tech yet. In the very beginning, and this, I think this is going to be very key for a lot of the smaller brands. I got what I would like to call like bullet point bias, where pretty much anything that fit like what I thought I was looking at for tech, it was like, yep, we need this, we need that, we need this. It was just like a lot of these things did not necessarily fit with the brand with where we were at the time. So kind of like figuring things back out now. There's a lot of tech that don't necessarily, like, we didn't have the resources to deploy. We didn't necessarily have, like as Andy said yesterday, the money part's the easy part, but we didn't have the human resources, and we didn't necessarily have the time to make this tech work for us correctly. And so now we're in a place now where we're starting to look back at, well, how is our team going to be impacted by this? How is our team going to use this? Is it causing more stress for them? And how can we create a tech stack that will actually benefit our team as opposed to create more strain on them?
For us, we've prioritized, like I said, the communication with the guest piece, but then also just the simplicity of life piece. So anything that we can do to make our operators' lives easier has definitely been at the top of our tech stack needs. So for me, that means a third-party integrator. It's nothing new these days, but still, getting that done with web, online ordering, and then layering in potential catering on top. That's a big burden to bear when you are a small brand. And to your point, all these things are so cool, but unless you have a person who can actually deploy the good technology and then utilize, for some of the data that you get out of it, there's really no point yet. So we have this kind of wish list, but ultimately about 1.5 years ago, we looked at all the tech that we were using. We figured out what we could scale back and really just focused on simplifying the lives of our operators as well as our support staff, because we still have to have all the logins. We still have to be able to communicate and train all these things. So simplification, integration, those were the two pieces that were at the top of our list. As we grow, I hope that we can do obviously more and more. I love the idea of, rewarding our team members with gift cards to this or that. Some of that stuff sounds so cool that integrates with your payroll pieces. But for now, I think it's just important for me to walk into a store, talk to them, engage, tell them how good of a job they're doing and how much I appreciate them. And I think that can go just as far.
So we try to meet our team members where they're at. Most of our team members are between the ages of like 16 and 24. So a lot of short style videos like TikTok, and that's how we communicate with our team is through our LMS. We will do short style videos, and then we also have each store has a group me, and which is similar to like an iMessage group chat. And we just seen like meeting them where they're at and adapting to their form of communication rather than pushing our form of communication has helped cultivate that culture. They're a little more bought in. They know what's happening within the brand. And then with our managers, we do self-reporting KPIs. It's very easy to push numbers down and be like, hey, look at this. But when they have to go actually get the data, input the data, and then kind of write a 1 or 2 bullet point, like just notes on what happened that week, I think it gives a little more ownership of what is happening, because we were seeing so often we'd push our KPIs out, and we'd be like, hey, did you see that? No, didn't open that email. Sorry about that. And so with the self-reporting, I think there's a little more accountability, and like they're owning it. And then the meeting them with where they're at with communication, we've seen that's really helped.
So at Craveworthy, we do Opus, which is our training platform. I'm a big believer in the short video and the short learning, so that's the main way that we maintain culture and pieces like that. We also do something that I get yelled at a lot, but we do bi-monthly meetings with every employee that's on our roster. Has an opportunity to have a 45-minute meeting with me where I sort of give the industry where we are, where we're going, and then allow them to ask me any questions they want. And the first couple were 2 or 3 hours because I wait until every question's answered. Now we're down to about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and some of the questions that come are, hey, why don't I make more money and stuff like that? But we make it seem that we're always there for them because we are, but that they're the focal point of what we do day in and day out. So that's our biggest way of sort of establishing that culture piece. And it's time consuming and you don't know what you're going to get asked, and that's always scary. But if you give the truth, I have felt that's the best way to sort of build that continually. So as you guys install the sense of brand authenticity across everywhere, and you're continuing to grow, what is the biggest framework that you put around your brand to make sure that there's a non-negotiable? What is the one non-negotiable as you build your brands to get them to grow? And we'll start in the end this time, because Swig should have that one instantly.
Instantly. For us, it's always speed. We ultimately go back to how we take care of our customer is through speed of service. We just like to pick up on like Chick-fil-A always wins. Best like customer satisfaction. And every interaction I've had, it's like, my pleasure, here's your chicken, see you later. But you see them like running with your bag of food. And so for us, we want to have a constant transaction where our team members are always consistent, the drinks and the products are consistent, and then we are very quick through their line.
I was coming at this from a different way as an early franchisor. I think now our non-negotiable is really around the scratch-made piece. We had previously been recruiting franchise partners who, were in all these concepts, and that's great. We were wanting our typical franchise partner customer was somebody who'd already been in the restaurant business. However, what we learned is so many huge restaurant businesses, they get to add water to things and it, just explodes and there's your biscuit. And that's not who we are. And so I feel like during our franchise development process, we're constantly harping on this scratch-made piece. So we want you to know it's hard. Because if they come in with one expectation and then, it's totally different, it's different. It's a struggle. With our customers, I think that our one non-negotiable is just more around touching tables with our GMs and our team members, really any of them, empowering them to touch tables and to engage with them. I love walking in my restaurants and hanging out and our folks knowing people's orders because they're coming in so much. To me, that guest experience piece is the most important part of what we do. We know that people, especially right now, if they're going to come in and spend $12 on a biscuit, this needs to be an elevated experience. So that's the biggest priority for us.
Ours is giving, so all about giving without the expectation of receiving. And the way that we design our framework around it is that we do an event called Shootz Giving. It's a quarterly event that we run. And the event is we give away our free kimchi butter katsu chicken sandwich. It's one of our #1 sellers. And we actually close the store early, so we'll go from 11 to 5 as opposed to 11 to 9 or 10. And it's literally all of our marketing is surrounded around that one event. We don't do any discounts or anything like that throughout the year. So we focus in all of our marketing in terms of Facebook ads, influencers, local store marketing, partnering with a school or an organization in the area. And it's just free chicken sandwich is the only thing that we're offering. And then what we do is we donate a percentage of the proceeds. And typically we'll actually do more sales on those days than we would normally if we didn't do the event, and we donate those proceeds to a local school or organization. And what this allows us to do with closing the store early is now we get the entire team organized around this event. We don't have to worry about breaks being covered and things like that because everyone's working on this single day. We reset the store that day, and then we also do an outing with the team. So now it's like the entire team is getting rallied behind this idea of giving, and they look forward to it the next time that we do it.
Very cool. So last question, because we're almost out of time. What is the one fail or pitfall you've experienced in your journey? So what is the biggest lesson that you got from it? So I'm a big believer in making sure people know we do fail. We're not up here because we're good. We're up here because we made lots of mistakes in life.
Ignoring our numbers, like really ignoring where we are going as a brand. And I think this came from, it was really my fault. I have a tech background, so I have 0-day restaurant experience the day we started this brand. And so I was heavy on data, tech, here's all the different things, the tools that we need in order to make us, be a sustainable brand over time. And so we ended up with this tech stack of a 20, 30 unit restaurant chain. We only had 3 locations. And what happened is it's easy to say, okay, well, we're in this situation of, having everyone run around to try and deploy tech correctly. And now we're missing out on speed of service. We're missing out on our guest experience and things like that. And it was easy to say, like, well, this is the situation we're in because this is what we're building for the future, as opposed to saying, no, the operations need to come first, and this is where we need to place our focus and slow down a bit on the tech, because all of that stuff can come later. At the end of the day, we're still in the restaurant business.
Yeah, for me, it's always been the wrong hire. I feel like I have spent time having to rebuild trust with people, where I hired potentially a manager or a person to oversee our operations that really brought the trust piece down. And that's been the hardest thing that we've had to deal with, is finding, getting the right person in the right seat. And sometimes I think the desire to have a person in a seat to absorb some work has overcome it being the right person. So what I've learned is sometimes you can do more with less, at least for a while, and to be patient, the right person will come.
Greg asked this question when we did our pre-call for this panel, and I've been thinking a lot about this because there's been a lot of different mistakes. But I think like saying yes to too many things has ultimately hurt us a lot. Saying yes to rolling out a new scheduling software, doing 2 or 3 LTOs at one time, implementing another piece of tech, all at the same time, and it's just overwhelming to the team. And so actually none of the rollouts are smooth or received as well, integrated like we want. And just remembering that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And if we go slow and steady, I think we'll make more progress. Sometimes we need to slow down to speed up. And too often we try to just throw everything all at once, and that's hurt our team quite a bit.
I always sort of wondered what was going to happen when I hit 0. Are we going to get yelled at? So everyone, let's give a big round of applause for the great panel.